Well, good morning, everyone. Today I have my guest Kayla and also my co host Andrea. And we are all part of the amazing Shanks team. So, very happy to have you with me, ladies. And before we get started, I want to show you a short, I don't know, it's about a minute and 30 seconds, I believe, a recording that I did yesterday that talks about an amazing doctor here in San Antonio that has a webinar coming up that shows you how you can save over $1 million quite easily. So I'm going to show that. Enjoy, and we'll be back after that. This is Dr. Roger Mochigemba. I have been collaborating with him for almost 4 years now. I have helped build his clinic from a marketing and IT perspective. And this May 3rd, he will hold an online chat during which he will explain how he helped a local company save over $1 million. I know it's hard to believe, but I vouch personally that this is possible. Dr. Muchigemba's services are outstanding, and I use him for myself and for my own team. I think the information you will learn during those only 20 minutes can profoundly change your life, but also your company's life, your employees' lives, if you attend and apply the principles that you will learn during those 20 minutes. I think it will be a investment that can change again your health and your financial health forever. I would urge you to consider joining us. I have the link here somewhere around this video, and I'll see you on the call. I'll be there as well. Bye bye for now. Okay, so that's that. And then another doctor will be live with me today, I believe at, let me double check, I believe at 2 Central. And that should be an interesting conversation with Dr. Clements. Is at 1 Central. And Dr. Clements is a doctor who also practices direct primary care in San Antonio, but he is operating on a smaller scale, I believe. But we will see. We will see. But let's divert now to our topic of the day with our amazing Kayla. Kayla, graphic design and medical content. How amazing! Before we get started, folks, I have to tell you, and I need to praise Kayla a lot here because Kayla, as she will tell us, lives in Venezuela. And in my humble opinion, she is just rocking the English language. She is not only a great graphics designer, but she also understands the intricacies of our healthcare system here in the United States. I mean, she understands more of our healthcare system than the average American. I can guarantee you that. A lot of the medical content that you see on our clients' websites is actually developed by Kayla. So Kayla, before Andrea asks you these difficult questions, would you tell us, Kayla, how, I'm very interested, how did you go on your journey in Venezuela to learn graphics design and then to become so good at also writing English in quite a complex topic such as medical content?
Okay, so hello everyone. Well, I find that my journey is quite interesting because I didn't want to study graphic design first, but led by my parents, I started and I really loved it. So that's one of the main things that I appreciate from them, that they pushed me to study graphic design. And at the same time, I always been interested in very different topics. So graphic design is like a way to learn about them because you can work with people in technology, you can work with people in healthcare. So that's like the great way to do it. And About the English and writing medical content, I always been interested in English and learning how to speak many languages. So English is the first one that I learned apart from my Spanish, and always been interested, always reading in English, always watching movies or shows, and always researching so I can master the language.
Fantastic. So you're telling me, so most parents push their kids to become a doctor or a lawyer or God knows what, something fancy. But your parents pushed you into graphic design?
Yes, because the way they saw that I was very into, for example, drawing or very creative things, so they thought that graphic design was the right path for me, and I think it was.
That's fantastic. Well, Andrea, what questions do you have for Kayla this morning?
So, my first question to you, Picasso, is when did you reincarnate yourself and come back as Kayla Lando? No, I'm just kidding. But I believe it. I totally believe that you spent your younger years in your creative zone and they just thought, wow, this is a baby genius. We got to get her on the right path. So, shout out to your parents. That's really cool. And especially because I think when it comes to the arts, a lot of parents become really kind of paranoid and they're like, oh my gosh, how are they going to make money? Let's push them into a different direction, into the sciences or math or whatever. But you found your way to science anyway with medical content, and you've had an interest in the medical field as well, have you not?
Yes, correct.
Awesome. So the question that I have for you is when you are so kind of two questions, because would you say that medical content is a different style of graphic design than any other field?
Yes, I think so. Like every field has there are things that need to be considered. So, for example, with medical content, we need to consider in the graphic design part, we need to consider how to communicate that message that we want to communicate with colors or with fonts or everything. So those are things that really need to be taken into consideration when creating a graphic or creating any content for the medical field.
Yeah, and we know working with doctors and healthcare professionals, they're usually very complex in the way that they speak, in the way they communicate, and it doesn't always get across to the general public. So then you have to do some interpretation of what they're saying in your visuals, in your graphics. How do you? I remember we worked on a clinic report and that there was a lot of information in there, and I didn't even expect you to take some of that information and kind of compress it and turn it into a graphic. What makes you think like that?
Well, I think that's a very like long process. First, in understanding the information, and then like looking for inspiration to really represent that, and also like uniting all the parts and creating the graphic. That's like a very long process, and sometimes it takes inspiration. It takes a lot of research and see
Mm.
also what other people like to understand this information. So it's a very long process, and yes.
Yeah, and I would think that there's some amount of psychology involved too to understand how do humans interpret data when they look at something, what do they pay attention to. So that's awesome. I have more questions, but I don't want to hog the stage. So I'll see if Shankar has anything he wants to follow up on or point out.
No, I want the two of you to do a few minutes in Spanish because here in San Antonio, where Shanks is headquartered, the Hispanic population is quite large, or should I say the Latino? What is the right way to say that, Andrea?
All of those are the right
All of
way to
those.
say
Okay.
that.
Lots of people here speaking Spanish, and it is quite important because very often, especially the medical content that is supposed to help them understand what help is available to them, they don't understand it. So we are very proud that we have that capability. So why don't you just continue a little bit your conversation in Spanish, please?
Bueno, bueno, mucho gusto, okay, mucho gusto. como fuera la primera vez. Bueno, em, lo que me impresiona mucho es que realmente necesitamos entender lo que es la atención primaria directa, direct primary care. Y la pregunta que tengo es, ¿por qué es importante que la comunidad latina entiende lo que es y que sí existe en otras partes del mundo?
Bueno, siempre voy a pensar que el healthcare o la atención médica es una de las principales cosas de las que el ser humano se preocupa. Entonces, sabemos que el sistema en Estados Unidos de salud es un poco complicado de entender, un poco difícil de navegar, y saber que existen otras alternativas para resolver esos problemas que podrían aparecer, como es el Direct Primary Care, es excelente. Siento que las personas deberían educarse acerca de distintas formas de atenderse a sí mismos y también basarse en prevenir, porque esa es una de las principales cosas en el Direct Primary Care, que es prevenir para evitar ir a larger care o emergency rooms. Entonces es importante que ese tema tan importante que es la prevención.
Muy bien. Bueno, tenemos en el futuro, muy breve, vamos a tener un podcast donde
Mm.
Keyla y yo hablamos mucho sobre el tema. Eh, bueno, cuando tengamos tiempo. Ahora no da tiempo, pero yeah, watch this space and we're going to have a podcast in Spanish that goes deeper into this topic. And I'm really looking forward to it because there's a lot of good nuggets in there. And one of our goals is just to reach the Spanish speaking population so that they understand a lot of what's happening that maybe they don't have resources to in the English or in the Spanish speaking world.
Awesome. Well, luckily, I took 2 years of Spanish back in Luxembourg. It was pretty painful because I wasn't very talented at it. But now I can say I understood probably about 80% of what you guys were saying. So let me ask you, Kayla, in English, what is the system like in Venezuela? Just out of curiosity, is it easy to see the doctor? Is it affordable? And is healthcare of good quality?
Okay, yes. We can say that we have like two different parts of the system. We have the public system that is where like everything is free, because this is a communist country, so that's like the main politic of communism, that free access to healthcare. And we also have like private clinics that and insurance that is a little bit more expensive, but at the same time, the attention is better, more personalized. And yes, you can have access to your doctor and you can have a relationship with your doctor under the clinic, the private system. So, yes.
Okay. Well, it's always great to hear that it is not as bad as everyone thinks, right? That's the Western world kind of has this idea that everything is super horrible in Latin America and also other parts of the world, and that is not the case. We have a viewer who is very grateful here. Uh, John Kim, who is actually a doctor here in San Antonio, who is very interested in integrative medicine. He is just very grateful right now for everyone involved that we talk about this. I know he cares a lot about the wellness of the San Antonio community. And more to come, by the way, with Dr. Kim and us. We will definitely make a push to also speak about integrative healthcare here in San Antonio. Thank you, John, for watching. All right, let's see. This was a really good conversation because we touched on a lot of points really in not too long, like 15 minutes. Okay, so we spoke about graphics design, we spoke about Kayla's ability to develop medical content, not only in English, but also in Spanish, and about the importance of that for our region here in San Antonio. And quite frankly, I would dare to say, actually, it's funny that John just commented because him and I, we had a conversation yesterday, and he said really Spanish is basically the second language of the United States, and I can tell you that that is very true. I don't know about the northern parts of the U.S., but definitely here in San Antonio, that is for sure a valid statement. Um, all right, let me wrap this up. Shanks.club, I'm blending in the URL. Shanks.club is a community for people who start their business or want to grow their business, and they just can't afford to work with an agency such as Shanks. So what we're doing is we're packing that information and the tips and the instructions into video content and releasing it there on shanks.club. The membership is $7 a month and you can cancel anytime. So go check that out. And are there any final thoughts here from Andrea or Keyla?
I just want to say that it was really exciting being here and that I'm really happy that I was invited to the show.
Well, you can come back every week, Keyla, if you want to.
Yeah.
Hey, it's really funny, guys, because Keyla is actually she uses words sparingly usually. So
Yeah, this is the most we've heard her talk in the whole year.
yeah, that's true.
And it's so fluid and in any language, really.
That's awesome. All right. Well, we're getting close to our 8 o'clock company meeting. Thank you both of you for being with us here, and thank you to the viewers for watching us. And we'll be back with the Shanks Show tomorrow morning. For now, bye bye. This was the Shanks Show.
See you later.